Hello everyone, welcome to Agentic AI Demystified with Studio, a series under TGIF and your backstage pass to get into the world of agent building. Today is the episode 2 under the series of Governance in Power Platform and Copilot Studio. And with the continuation of governance overview, what are the admin center capabilities that Power Platform provide, we are going to talk about the environment management in detail today. And today I would love to be joined by Anand Ponnusamy, who is the Global Black Belt for Business Application Microsoft. Hey Anand, welcome back to the part 2 of the governance series Power Platform and Copilot Studio.
Thanks, Vishaka. So in the earlier session, right, we saw the environment capabilities, security roles, data loss prevention policies, and the user access and so on. In this session, right, we will focus specifically on managed environment, which is the advanced governance capabilities that is there, which gives you even more additional controls actually.
Yeah, to that definitely governance when it comes to how governance could make your life easy for a developer is with the help of how well we are managing our developer environment, the production UAT, and how the transition of the components is happening.
Right.
So now help us understand what are these environment management components Power Platform and Copilot Studio Admin Center provides to make it easy development life cycle, or I would say the transition from the developer to the production to UAT.
Great. So while we have the standard environments, right, you have to either manually export the solutions and then import it into the destination environment,
Right.
or leverage the Azure DevOps actually. With managed environments, right, you have the pipelines, which doesn't require any complicated setup or going and setting up GitHub Actions or setting up Azure DevOps. This is a standard capability within the managed environments. So this makes the life of the developers easier actually. In addition to that, right, from an overall security perspective, you have the permissions or options to limit the sharing of the apps or the agents to larger set of users. Yeah. In the data loss prevention policies, when we configured, you notice that we cannot block those default connectors. Yes. Now with managed environments, right, you have the option to block those connectors as well using the advanced connector policies. In addition to that, right, you also have the options to configure the connector actions. Like for example, if you are going using a SQL connector, you can disable, create or delete. Only update is permitted and so on. You have those level of flexibility available. Every organization, right, they look at security as one of their factor. So especially, right, when there is a sensitive data involved, they wanted it to be accessed only within the office, only from a particular IP address and so on, right? You have the option to set up IP firewall, IP cookie binding and so on, so that your data is completely secure.
Understood. I think you covered pretty much in-depth capabilities of the managed environments. If I'll take a step back a little bit, do we also have features and functionalities where the user base actions on the managed environment would change? Maybe Anand will have, okay, even though this is a managed environment, you'll have the different access roles on the managed environment and I will have the only read or write.
Absolutely. The same security roles apply here as well. In addition to that, right, you can also enforce app level conditional access policies, which we have. So that way, right, I can access the same app across different locations, but you will have certain restrictions on certain apps where you will be able to access it only in the office and so on.
Understood. Great. I think Anand, in continuation with our last demo, which is on the governance around Power Platform Admin Center, show us in detail what are the capabilities of managed environment looks like.
Absolutely. Let's switch to the demo. Welcome to the second episode of Power Platform Governance, Admin and Security. Today we'll talk about managed environments. So managed environments is a premium capability that is available as part of the Power Platform Admin Center capabilities. And what all the capabilities included as part of managed environment, we'll look into it. Now, an environment can be classified as a managed environment or an unmanaged environment. Now, to create a managed environment, click on New, provide a name, and ensure that this checkbox is or toggle button is enabled to make this as a managed environment. The rest of the environment creation process is same as like the last time what we have seen. Now, once you have made the environment as managed, you will see this particular managed section as enabled as yes. So this clearly indicates that the environment is becoming a managed environment. What you get as an environment features that is available as part of managed environment. You can go to edit managed environments and you will be able to set the limits for sharing of the apps and also sharing of the Copilot Studio agents. So you can limit the sharing where you can exclude sharing with the same security group. You can limit to how many users the Canvas app can be shared. Similarly, right, Copilot Studio also it is the similar one. And you will also be able to get the usage insights. If there are new makers coming in, the welcome message for those makers, you will be able to enable it. And for all the Power Apps app and the Copilot Studio agents, right, you can enable the Copilot based descriptions. Now, this is at the environment level. Now, if you have multiple environments, right, and you want to set up rules and policies for those environments, you can go ahead and enable it at the environment group level. So you can create a new environment group, add multiple environments to that particular group. So I can go to environment group, I'll say group 2 environment group. You can provide a name of your choice and then you add environments to this particular group. So whatever the environments that are managed environments, right, you can add them. Now, once you have added the environments, right, then you can configure the environment rules. So adding the environment would take a couple of minutes. So now the environments are added. You can go to the rules. Now, environment rules are the ones which will allow or which is applicable for this particular set of environments in group 2. That is the two environments. Now, one of the important feature is the advanced connector policies. With environment groups, right, you will be able to set up advanced connector policies where you have the flexibility to block even the default connectors. In the data loss prevention policies, which we saw last time, you cannot block the default Microsoft connectors, those 25 odd connectors, you will not be able to block. Once you enable them as a managed environment and you go to advanced connector policies, you can select all those connectors as well and remove those connectors. So those connectors become blocked. So this way, right, you will be able to ensure nobody creates an apps or flows in those environment, especially in scenarios where you do not want the users to create apps and flows and agents in the default environment actually. And all other rules which you are setting up, right, will apply for all of the environments that is available here actually. So you don't really need to set it at each environment level. So till now what we have seen is the environment groups, the environment and the sharing limits and so on. The other capability is environment routing. So when you enable this environment routing, right, whenever uh, somebody is trying to create apps and flows and so on, right, you will be able to redirect them to a particular environment. Say for example, if you have say for example HR team that is there. Now they are created as a HR security group in Entra or Azure AD, and anybody trying to create HR apps in that particular should be redirected to a particular environment. You can say HR routing rule, and then you can add a particular group, say for example project A or the customer onboarding team. So you can add up to 5 AD groups and you can route it to a particular environment group. So anybody from this particular security group tries to log in and create apps, they will be routed by default to this particular environment group. That way, right, you can ensure the work is done in the correct set of environments. In addition to that, right, you also have specific set of settings that are applicable in environment groups. Now, for example, the IP firewall. So when I go to security, data and privacy, you have the option of customer managed keys. So by default, right, any environment that is there in Power Platform is controlled and or encrypted by Microsoft managed keys. Once you enable them as a managed environment, you can use your own encryption keys using the customer managed key options. We already saw the advanced connector policies, and you also will be able to set up Azure VNet. So especially when there are Azure services that are deployed in your Azure tenant as a private endpoint, you can leverage Azure VNet to connect to those private endpoints without exposing them over the internet. Now, coming to the threat detection, right, you will also be able to enable advanced threat detections and so on. Coming to the identity and access, so you will be able to enable IP firewalls. So which means that you will be able to restrict a specific set of IP addresses that can access the dataverse data for this particular environment or environment group. So you can add the IP range so that only those IP ranges will be able to access, say for example, the environments in group 2 when we are setting it for this particular set of environment. Similarly, right, you also have the options to view the analytics, which is basically, right, the app usage analytics and so on, right? You will be able to export them to Azure App Insights using this particular managed environment capability. In addition to that, right, you'll also be able to set up conditional access for individual apps. You'll be able to configure auditing for specific environments and so on. And you'll also be able to configure data masking rules. The last capability is on the pipelines, which allows you to seamlessly move the solutions across environments, which we will see in the next episode as part of the ALM. Looking forward to see you in the next episode. Thank you.
Great demo, Anand. I think we reached to the stage 2 of the governance right now.
Yeah.
When it comes to Power Platform and Studio. In the next one, we'll definitely cover the application development lifecycle in detail. Thank you so much
Absolutely.
for joining us. Stay tuned for the next one.
Thanks, Vishaka.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.